Very special guest today on the Producer Playbook.
We need to understand the difference between mentoring and coaching. Producers, sometimes they're mixing them up. They just tell people what to do, even though this could be not the right solution.
Why is there a danger in doing that?
Because then you're treating the person as, we call it, parent-child relationship. Because you tell them, okay, you go and do this. You didn't trust the person, they are able to do it. What's the purpose of the stand-up? Is it to update what I've done yesterday, what I'm going to do today? Or is it just what blocking me? What challenges do I have? By visualizing how the transitions work in reality, put it on your board. Status update is not really required because I can go and take a look. Okay, Harry working on this ticket and Harry is waiting for this one to be done. So what you try to do in the stand-up is to make sure that no one is blocked. What happens sometimes when you work with technical people, they love to speak technology. And when they speak technology for so long.
How do you do this? If I get the answer, I'll be very happy. So, welcome everyone. Very special guest today on the Producer Playbook, Ali.
Hey man, how are you doing?
Hey man, good. Yeah,
It
how have
is,
you
it
been?
is.
How is the snow been? It's very nice and snowy.
Man, I love it, seriously. I love it when I love darkness, snow, and tax agency in Sweden. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they are nice people. They just take half of our money. They're straightforward, so I love them.
Take off the money, but at least you have some very nice transport.
True.
There you go.
Not that nice, but yeah.
Not too bad. So
No.
today we have a producer playbook for you all. So it is going to be stories from Ali's past and also everything that would help other producers and aspiring producers to get through their career. So my first question is, what is a producer?
Producer different between different companies, even though it's like Europe, Japan, it's even different between departments. So I have multiple teams. I feel like I'm doing different jobs at different teams, which is good or bad. Actually, that's the reality. Different teams have different needs. Different teams have different maturity, different complexity of the product they're building. So the producer needs to be what that team needs to deliver more effectively.
So they adapt.
Exactly. So some teams just need you to be more hands-on, just like really day-to-day, knowing what's going on. Some teams, they have this seniority, so they can do this themselves. They want you to go out and do the more strategic and the communications. And it's a bit difficult to frame it in a place of, okay, so is a producer a project manager? Is a producer a product manager? Is it a product owner? Is it in between? I definitely see it as in between. And the ratio, how much is going to be project manager, product owner, or manager, it just depends on the team's needs. But there is one mission for producer needs to be there always, is how can I maximize the outcome of the team that producing without the team need to put more work or time in it. And how you can do that? How can I make a team? Let's say there's a team without a producer. They're producing this amount of whatever, if it's code, art, whatever. Then I bring a producer, then I'm expecting that amount of outcome. How is that possible? Because the producer needs to bring priority and focus and clarity. So the team knows what they should be doing next. And the producer do all this behind the scene communication. So they always know what's next, what's the priority, what things they should be focusing on, what things they should drop right now and focus on something more important. So that's how I see producer role.
Okay.
This was a long answer, but to be honest, it's like the only way to explain this complexity about the understanding of the role. Because according to my family, I just play games and they pay me well. Yeah, because it's really hard to explain what we do. Yeah, that's why.
From a producer, like, I want to turn this into the viewer's perspective here. If I'm looking to mentor someone or even apply this advice to myself, like, what do producers get wrong when they try to kind of help someone else become more productive?
Really good question. As a producer, we need to understand the difference between mentoring and coaching.
What's the difference?
Perfect. Mentoring is, you come to me, hey, Ali, I have this. I want to be organized. Same.
And I do actually want to be
Perfect. Then I say, if I'm mentoring you, I say, hey man, use my formula. To do is for capturing notes, use Notion for your documentation, use this for that. Then I've just told you what you need to do.
like a prescription.
Yeah, I just told you what you need to do. We can do the same at work. Hey, I'm not sure how to facilitate this. I'm not sure how to give this feedback. You tell them how to do it. Or if they have a problem, how you just give them how to solve it. But then you have coaching. Coaching is trusting the person, they're able to figure it out. And of course, I'm not saying sometimes we need to be mentors, sometimes we need to be coaches. But what the producers does, they sometimes mix them up. They just tell people what to do, even though this could be not the right solution.
Why is there a danger in doing that?
Perfect, because then you're treating the person as, we call it, parent-child relationship. Because you tell them, okay, you go and do this. You didn't trust the person they are able to do it. Well, instead, guide the person how to do it. So for example, ask them, okay, how can I help you today? So they come with a problem. Then I say, I see. And what you going to do about it next? They say, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going to do this and that. Oh, interesting. So you're going to try this. Yeah, maybe I should. You will find out they start to solve their problem by themselves.
How often does that happen? I wonder if it's like most times.
It's actually 90%. If you're speaking to an adult, they're able to figure it out. You just need to do the right way. Just listen to them. Just guide them. And you know how I'm going to tell you that one trick so you can know, am I doing a good job or not? Like, absolutely one trick. If you're doing the coaching, if someone comes to you, hey, Harry, I want to do a podcast, what to do? Then you want to coach that person instead of, of course, if not asking for technical questions, that's a different story. But ask you where to start. You need to coach that person. If your brain is thinking as that person is talking, then you're not coaching.
That's actually good, because I was thinking, all right, what would I ask that person? And it's usually like, okay, why would you start a podcast? It's a low mental energy question. But for them, it's a...
So exactly what you need to do, you need to let them think. Throw the ball at them every time.
And usually big open questions is like,
like,
okay, why are you doing a podcast? Okay, why are you driving yourself to do that?
Exactly.
And then they usually...
So what will happen, you see that person doing, actually, I don't know, like, or maybe, or then they will start figure out slowly. So you just guide them through their feelings and they will figure out and they will find out. Here's the thing. In a lot of the cases, there's an agenda in you. Say, please use this tool. Please do this thing. No, don't do that. Please don't.
Why not? If I'm a producer,
because
and deep down I know my tool's going to help them, why wouldn't I want to do that?
Because who said that you know your tool's the best? First. Second, what works for me might not work for that person. Third, we need to let people solve this and treat them as an adult-to-adult relationship. This will change the dynamic of things. That will change your relationship, in my opinion. If people start to... you will feel trust in this because I'm not doing much. I'm just helping you. And in the end, you will find it. You will find the solution yourself. And and funny enough, they will say, thank you for helping me. You actually just guided them.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens. Like, I've done a bit of coaching and I have a tool which tells me how much of the time I'm talking. And sometimes I'm like 10, 20%. And then those people are like, you helped me so much. But because a lot of it, they were working through and finding the answer themselves.
You're just guiding them, asking the question, let them do the thinking. So when the producer know exactly when to utilize mentoring and coaching, when speaking to the team and helping them solve their problems, this is a big plus for building relationship and make sure the team is maturing. And producer is, we're not like, we're humans. We have our flaws. So our solutions might be actually not the best at all. Instead, we should let the team let the person find it and we just support them.
So if we're looking at the ideal producer now, what traits would they have if you were like building a perfect producer?
See, now I'm thinking, now you're doing these big questions. First of all, how making games is complex. Tools are complex. Everything is complicated about making games. If you never made a game, I highly recommend just try to make a small one in Unity and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Or any engine. It's actually complex. It's so hard to make games. Then producer needs to reduce that complexity and make it more simplified.
For who?
For the team, for the communications, for everyone around. And you can do that. Who said if things are complicated, we should complicate everything around it? For example, let's say I have my teams and my teams work on different packages or different deliveries. And those deliveries needs to have a milestones and documentations, okay? And instead of higher up coming to me or directors, hey, where are you with this? What about that? We made a kind of dashboard for them so they see every delivery in timeline and status on top of it. They need more information, they can click on it. So always try to package your information in a simplified high-level way and give people as much as they want by clicking more, see more. You can go all the way to go very technical.
So trait one, simplifying complexity.
Simplifying complexity, that's the first. Second,
and I like the point I just want to mention, like you made it real time. You avoided the communication lag
100%.
I
And
can
this is-
imagine how much that adds up in a studio.
which is really ties to my second point, which is communication, right?
Hmm.
How can I reduce communications and back and forth by making the information available? But we took it next level at Star Stable with my teams. My teams don't need to ask me about priority at all. Never. Which is a
Is
lot
that
of
common?
cases priority.
Is that common in gaming
It
studios?
is very common. It's like when you get two issues at once, which one I should pick first.
And you saying you solved
Which-
that at Star Stable?
We solve that to a certain level, unless if it's two different issues in live, they don't belong to any
Yeah,
package.
I'm curious, how did you do that?
How we do that? Very simple. Back to simplify. So we use Jira. I believe most likely more of the cities are using Jira. And
Jira is a
Jira is the project management tool where you can manage your backlog, all the tickets, all the packages, and across the company would each team have their own board and project, and you can link tickets together.
Got it.
So in Jira, there's something called timeline. Timeline, I haven't seen it utilized in many companies. They're just like, it's laying around.
It's like a feature that doesn't get the love.
Exactly. In timeline, you can place your epics. Epics is, let's say epic is a collection of tickets. When they are done, the feature is done. And it could vary in complexity and size, depends on the feature, the company, the team size. What we do, we put every epic as a delivery or feature, and we put it on a timeline. And in timeline, it's a list. So you cannot have two epics as a prior one. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm.
And this is the best way to have priority. If you have everything is prior one, then nothing is important.
And also, even if it's obvious, it's still mental energy that someone has to use. Where, like, I have this daily. I have a to-do list, and they categorize as high, medium, or low.
Exactly.
But then if I have 2 at high,
Then
I'm having to use mental energy.
100%. But in our case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You're not thinking.
You're not thinking. So you got two tickets from outside. Is it you can look at the epics and say, okay, this is 1, this is 2. Then you know which one is more important.
How do you spell epics?
Sorry,
How do you spell the word epics?
epic, like epic, like
Epic Games?
epic games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard the word that.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that word before.
Yeah, epic is just a collection of tasks or stories.
Cool.
So we use that. So the epics will be in the list. Then, if you got 2 items belong to different epics, you can go there and check what priority looks like, and we can make it dynamic. So for any reason, I got a new input from the director saying, okay, we believe this project, we need to pump it in priority. That's it. So I changed it for my team, so my team can always go and check for that. We also did something very cool, that we have a massive backlog like a lot of companies. So we start to use labeling system. So I want my team to don't go to the backlog and find hundreds of tickets laying around. They just apply a now label, and they see way fewer tickets in a priority order.
Nice.
So I told the team, if you out of work in the board, go to the backlog, apply this label, and it's ready for you.
Yeah, so you're reducing the overwhelm of like 100 tickets. Like
100%.
when you have like 3 or 5 on the
100%. I'm reducing the need for them to talk to me and asking me, I'm done now, what should I do next? They know what to do next.
Yeah.
So reducing the amount of communication by making things clear. Don't be afraid of communicating. Don't be afraid of setting up a meeting. We set up a meeting to discuss a ticket or a situation, whatever. But if you can reduce that by making things clear, this is how the right steps of being a good communicator internally, and how you present your information to the externals.
So producer, we have simplifying complexity,
Exactly.
good communication. Would you
Yes.
add anything else?
Yes. This is going to be an interesting one because it differs between companies. But if one of the people who drive the vision of what you're building, I always say that we are time travelers.
Okay.
Yeah, for producer.
What?
What? It's like, okay, this podcast is over.
Explain.
Ali's drunk. If they were just drinking water. Okay, so I'm gonna explain, and you're gonna like it. And if you don't like it, wait. If you don't like it, I'm gonna actually leave.
All right.
Or you can leave.
I'll be honest.
You will be.
I'll be
Okay.
honest. Let's
I
see
hope-
if
I-
this
I
time
hope-
traveler analogy is good.
I hope I can explain it in a good way. Okay. When you take a decision or a vision, it's something needs to be done in the future with strategy, based on something happening in the past, on data or discussions. You need to be that person. You need to have that agility to go to the future, see the vision, come back and explain to your team and a strategy how it's gonna feel, how it's gonna look like. And you have done all of that based on data. You have all the discussions or inputs from people you have done in the last year, last few months, last weeks. You are doing all of that in one day.
So the workflow here is director gives you a vision, and you're saying you're then going in the future, playing it out, what it would look like from a production perspective, and then coming back to like, okay, this is how it's going to feel.
Exactly.
It's going to feel good, but then here are all the things we need to do and the possible problems, and then you're making that visual.
And you do that based on things you have done in the past, mistakes in terms of complexity. Have you done something similar? Is it the first time? You need to look at the past anyway. And sometimes you might be the one driving that vision from scratch.
Producers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's different between companies. In my case, I have that with my teams. We have the freedom to suggest things that align with long-term vision, and we will present it to directors, and if they green light it, then we gallop it to the roadmap.
When it comes to this long-term vision and the short-term, I feel like I've had a few conversations where it ends up being where it feels like everything's going quarter to quarter. And you mentioned long-term vision there. And I feel like the balance of the long-term and the short-term is in essence a producer's job. What mistake, I love the framing of this question because you usually tell me the biggest one that's going to be the mistake. So like, what's the biggest mistake a producer makes balancing the long-term with the short-term?
Man, you should be a producer. I'm not exaggerating. Like this is seriously a really great point. I even forgot to mention, like balancing not only short and long term. This I'm gonna go even one level deeper. Is maintenance, technical debt.
You've got a talk on this, so
I have a full talk about technical debt now. I fixed my seat because now I'm excited.
Yeah.
So hear me out. So we took. Look, if you're a gaming company, don't tell me that you never took you didn't cut a corner. You did. I'm looking at them right now. We all do. Come on. We all do. Seriously, we all do. We cut corners. But then we need to fix them ASAP, right? So we have technical debt. We have cutting corners. We have code is old. We have content is old. Need to be revamped. If you don't, it will bite you back. You will pay the price. But then you have new things coming. Then
big
you have
visions, shiny objects.
Shiny objects. Then you have them short and long term. Okay, what you do now? How can I find the balance? And this is definitely a producer job, 100%. Look, if you're a producer, there's no way anyone will come to you and say, you know what? I believe we should spend half a year refactoring this feature or remaking it. It will never happen. They will always come in with the shiny objects, new features, flashy graphics, high fidelity, whatever, monetization, revenue stream, 100%. It's a business after all, but they don't do that. But a producer with the right mindset, understanding of the importance of balancing, will fight for this kind of things. And there's a lot of techniques you can do that. We can come to that if we have time. But for now, finding the right balance. How can I keep maintaining the code base? How can I respond to the live issues or on it needs to be fixed today, short term, long term. And there's multiple techniques you can do that. I'm gonna start with the simplest one. We figure out the recipe for one of my teams. We decided, you know what, every planning we're gonna have at least one maintenance, no question, at least one request from a user that they need it now or soon. And majority of the items will be short and longer term, split half and half. And if you have any crashes, always VIP goes to we cannot live with the crashes, internally or externally.
So when you say one, you mean a ticket?
A ticket. Now you're a producer speaking ticket, and you have multiple tickets. It's an epic. Okay, so that's how it works. Exactly. So when you have that recipe, that means that we are always do some good maintenance. We always make sure the internal user or external user happy. We're focusing on what matters, which is the mid and long-term projects.
This is in your context where it's a weekly sprint, no?
2 week sprint.
2 week sprint, but you have a weekly update?
We have weekly update, true.
But it's just you make them in 2-week batches, I guess.
That's really, like I said, you should be a producer. So it's good to know about Star Stable. That see now
Because the reason I'm asking is I'm thinking
I really
in other companies they might have a 3-month thing.
True,
So they
true.
can easily
True.
they come in 3 months later like, oh my god, we have all this stuff we haven't touched.
I see. I like, so you're really paying attention to the cadence in here. So we do code goes every like bi-weekly. Content goes every week. So when it's content, we can be relaxing. So because we call it uptick. Only we trigger new content from the content side. For us, we only do bi-weekly engine release. So that's why it's designed this way. So that's what we need. And in production, we are a few weeks ahead live. So what we're doing today depends on of course, when we branch, it will go out to live in a few weeks.
Okay.
So we always have this buffer time to allow internal people to do the testing. But back to this, like to the balancing point, you can do that when the planning, find a recipe, find what works for your team. This is one way of doing it. Second, you split in team, not in a bad way, split them or make a core team's focus. You always have people in your team who loves working on maintenance stuff. They enjoy quality. If you have them, please raise their salaries. It's like you don't want to lose them.
I found out about this ages ago. So I used to play RuneScape a lot, and there was always a lot of stuff that were broken, but they were never prioritized. So they released a team called the Ninja Team, and the only things they did was backlog, quality of life. And every week, the Ninja Team had their own blog, and I was just like, how sick is this? And now that I realize, it's because it is kind of the non-shiny work, but it needs to get done.
And you have people passionate about this, trust me. And this is, I like that how the qualities of producers are coming as we are talking. So we said simplifying complexity, communication, find the balance of things, understand your team and what they're passionate about.
Yeah, I can imagine how many companies now have someone who could be on maintenance but isn't, and the other way around.
Yes, just understand what they are passionate about and try to allocate them around the area as close as possible. Look, sometimes you cannot do this. Sometimes, let's say no one wants to touch something, someone needs to at the end of the day. But when it's possible, why not? When it's possible to assign it to something we need to do, I don't see why not. So we start to do that. We start to understand some of the people would like to work on more like cutting edge, more fancy technology, while some of them want to refactor old code, write unit testing.
Where does this come out? The desire, is that something you do regular to check?
I like this. You can't just go there and ask them, what do you like to work on? I mean, you might, some of them, they have the clarity. And here's also something you seriously should consider being producer.
I made a joke on one podcast. It's like, if I ever had to get a job in games, it would be producer.
Because you're asking good questions. Seriously, now it's not something you can have in one session or one-to-one. It's accumulation knowledge.
Yeah, it's not like a survey drop-down box.
100%. So first of all, you start to see that person, they pick certain type of tickets. So, okay, I see that person mainly picking this kind of tickets. Some of them, they got stuck longer in some ticket, but they go faster in some. So you understand what excites them. So this is something we can we take learning from. Retrospectives. I love retrospectives. It's your tool to understand your team, what frustrates them, what things they really want, what things they don't want or something. And when you plan your future, your team will start to suggest some items. You will find some of them fighting for, we should have this really fancy feature, while some of them will say, we should never touch anything in that code base until we refactor the whole of it. So you see different requests, different ideas. Then you have the picture start to be like full in front of you, what that person would love to focus on. So this is how I do it. Just pay attention to the team, what they're saying, what they're doing. And that's why also the stand-ups is important.
How often do you do stand-ups?
Daily, no question.
Do you think everyone should do that?
Everyone, I would say yes. Why? Because it's very short, it's 15 minutes.
I've been recruiting for some teams where it says they're 15 minutes, but then I speak to the contractor and then it always goes over.
Oh, no, never. In our case,
to be fair, I've seen you on meetings, agenda.
No, seriously, our meetings is very, very sharp. And in some cases, we have a lot to discuss. It's just I'm talking about seriously 2 minutes maximum above that's it. 2 minutes above
Actually, this
15.
is a good opportunity to ask. How do you keep a meeting to stick to that meeting length? Because I know you're very good at this, but this is not a common skill. Like, how do you make sure that the meeting finishes after 15 minutes?
I like this. I'm talking about stand-up, there's 2 techniques. If you have normal meetings...
Let's do both. So stand-ups, what do we do?
Perfect. Stand-up is, first of all, what's the purpose of the stand-up? Is it to update what I've done yesterday, what I'm going to do today? Or is it just what blocking me? What challenges do I have?
The first one could be just a message, right?
Yeah, just like...
As in, that doesn't need to be a stand-up from my perspective.
Yeah, so just like, or be there because someone might need you. But what if you have nothing? Just say, I'm all good. It's like, I'm not blocked. In my team, we stopped to do status update. Like, because you can see the ticket. Yeah, because you can see the ticket assigned to that person.
I started stopping that. So I had a weekly, basically stand-up. But then we changed it to every day. Tell me what I did yesterday, what I'm doing today, what I need from you.
Perfect.
And then he saves time, I save time. So the status update, from my understanding, doesn't need to be a stand-up. But surprisingly, at least when I was a recruiter about a year and a half ago, still a case in big companies.
Yeah, and it's just all about status update. But then this ties to either then their board is hard to read, because in our case, if you see my board right now, if you go to Stars Table right now, and I show you the board, you know exactly who's working on what.
It's the Jira board.
The Jira board.
Yeah.
You know exactly who is working on what.
Custom built?
No, just make sure that everyone is assigned.
What are people getting wrong? Why is it complex?
I love this. So Jira board comes with default template to do, which is no one has picked up the ticket. Then you put it in progress, then testing, then done. I believe that's the default template.
Yeah. I'm imagining a Trello board now, but
Trello board. Just let's go
Kanban style.
Yeah, just Kanban style. You pick to do, you do progress, then you put it in testing, then it's done. But we have waiting for review. Who's gonna review your ticket, for example? Then we added waiting for review. Your board should mirror the reality in terms of the flow.
And I found out recently, I ghostwrite. So I write a post. It used to be idea, draft, waiting for approval, approved. Now I have 15 stages because there's actually 15 things that need to happen.
Then exactly.
And that has saved me and my clients a lot of kind of, just like you said, actually,
exactly
the visual
same
complexity.
Exactly. So don't hide any transition in reality that is not on your board.
Yes.
So for example, I'm gonna give even extra. We're going a bit technical maybe here. I'm not sure, but
I think this is good section for the producers. Then we can move on to the early career stuff.
Perfect. So let's say we're done review. Then you put in testing. So you move the ticket to testing. If I invite you to my board, they say, oh, someone is testing this one, but no one is testing it because you moved it and no one picked it up yet. So in reality, you're waiting for someone to pick it up. So we added a new column, call it waiting for testing.
Yeah, unless you're going to have an automatic, when it goes there, dedicate to someone.
Perfect. But
you need to make it clear that no one's
So we make it
got
on a parking lot. We call it waiting for testing. Then the embedded QA in the team will pick that ticket and put it in done. So by visualizing how the transitions work in reality, put it on your board. The board is easy to read, always reflecting reality as much as possible. So status update is not really required because I can go and take a look and say, okay, Harry working on this ticket and Harry is waiting for this one to be done. So what we try to do in the stand-up is to make sure that no one is blocked. And what happens sometimes when you work with technical people, they love to speak technology. And when they speak technology for so long.
How do you do this? I had this. If I get the answer, I'll be very happy. So I'm a recruiter speaking to someone who's technical.
Yeah.
And they are explaining something they did. And I feel like I got everything I needed 10 seconds in. But now we're 1 minute in and I don't know how to say stop.
Okay. How we do it in stand-up though, that's more tricky because you're having conversation one-to-one with a person.
Fair. But stand-up is relevant.
Stand-up is what we do. Sometimes also goes to how good you are as a producer. Sometimes you need to let the conversation flow a bit because it's important what they're doing. And this could be solved in a 15 minutes stand-up rather than they need to book a meeting.
That's a very good point. Because you could save time by spending more time now,
100%. So I would rather to give them the space. But when I start to feel, they start to go in solution mode and they start arguing, we should do that, we should that. Guys, I love this. Feel free to use the time left from the stand-up if there's any time left, or book a meeting outside this. So you need to stop. You need to say, guys, I love this. We need to continue this outside. If you
Nice.
don't do that, it will drag the whole stand-up. This is one solution. The second one, if they were discussing concern half of the team, but the other half they are not even, because sometimes you have different like programmers.
How many people typically on a stand-up?
It's like usually it depends on the team size. Like I have some teams like around 6, sometimes like 10, 9.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say half of them are C++ programmers, half of them like backend Python. And if the discussions are about C++ and the no one is blocked and we did the quick update, okay, guys, feel free to drop from the meeting and we keep only the people concerned about the matter.
Nice.
So when you are efficient and are you blocked, I'm all good, I need nothing, perfect. And what also good about stand-ups, you can ask questions you don't usually get a chance to ask. Like, guys, why is this being blocked for long? Oh, because no one is reviewing it. Then we make sure that someone in the team reviewing that one. So raising up blockers, or it's good for the producer to see that this ticket been in its place for so long. Then you ask the person, hey, why this one is like, do you need, of course you ask in a way to support them, not to questioning.
Yeah.
It's like, why this been here for long? Do you need any support from me or anyone of the team? Oh yeah, like I feel like I'm stuck. Let's say you don't do stand-up. Let's say you do it weekly. That person will be stuck
For a week.
the whole week because that person is new to the company, shy to ask for help, or trying to challenge themselves in a way that is becoming ineffective.
Yeah, it's like the thing of always Google it yourself. But if you spend a week Googling it when you could have asked someone, there's a line.
There's a line. So for how much I should push and try to find myself, when should I ask for help? Producer can accelerate that enough. Like, okay, this been here for a few days. How can we help you? Then I need help. Then we ask who can help this person, X person with this. Then a senior will raise their hand. You make sure. This kind of decision you do in stand-up is so valuable. Insanely valuable. You're unblocking someone could be hours or days by just paying attention, asking the right questions. So when you're efficient, when you save all technical discussion to be outside, there's no way on earth. I would love invite me to the stand-up that will take more than 15 if the size of the team is reasonable. We always get sometimes like free time, a couple of minutes in some teams, depends on the size. Then end your stand-up by asking anything else. This opens any kind of frustration or question, or like, are we having retro this week? Are we doing this? Should we cancel this meeting because we don't have any topic? So it's also leave room for everyone to ask something. Could be not board related, could be team related.
I like that because it gives you the entire team a chance to like self-correct daily.
100%,
Yeah,
which is always keep you in the right course, which is also, so sometimes producers need to do really big communication, big like planning, vision. Sometimes it's all about the small details.
Yeah.
Like doing the small details correctly makes a good producer.
Yeah, it's like someone gave an analogy on a podcast. Is if you have a NASCAR, if you do one tweak, then you could crash. So if a game's in production, like that one tweak, if you do enough of those, it could derail the whole project.
100%. And adjusting it with the wheel, like as you're saying, is what we do in the stand-ups.
Yeah.
That's how we stay on the course.
And if you did it weekly, then that's a weekly feedback loop versus a daily feedback loop.
100%.
Which is a lot better.
The worst case, you can lose a couple of hours if that person decide not to reach out in our discussion channels.
Yeah. Bit of a deep question here, potentially. What's the toughest decision you've ever made as a producer?
That's a tough question, though. Oh yeah, you need to say no.
What happened?
You need to say no to some projects. You need to say no to some team members want to focus on something, which is, we call it killing your darlings.
Yeah.
Gaming industry is seriously different and compared to a lot of industries. Like let's say you work in I don't want to name any industry, so because I have friends in all industries, they want to like make people feel
non-gaming industry.
Not gaming let's say you work on a product. That product serves specific feature or specific use case, and you have a team of 15. Then you will find that person really, really excited about this product. So excited, even though this product could be like just anything small. The rest is just for them is a job. It's about the team, the culture. So it's so rare to find like everyone in the team insanely excited about what we're building. That's the gaming industry.
Yeah.
So you have the issue reversed. It's like you in some teams you need to motivate the team. You need to do a lot of effort to keep them excited. In the gaming industry, of course, you should keep trying to do that, but it's usually the opposite. You need to calm them down.
Yeah.
Chill, guys, chill. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of excitement about scoping, about scaling, about doing things. Sometimes you need to say no, which is could be heartbreaking for them to see their projects won't fly. We need to down prior it, but always explain why you said no. Help.
It's like you're facing rejection often.
It is.
It's a bit. I can see why that would hurt. If that's the toughest decision, my question here, then the follow-up: how do you make someone realize that their idea, although great, can't be done?
Producer needs to have the ability to zoom in, have the small technical details or small details about the product they're building. At the same time, click, boom, now we're zooming out, holistic view. Same back to the past and the future. You need to be able to zoom in and out very quickly. What happens that a lot of individual contributors in our teams, they're so passionate about this feature. They so love, they want that feature to go in. But when you zoom out, you see what's coming in the in the near future, long future. You have more insights about what the direction of the company is heading. You have understanding how this will complicate some legal stuff. So you know a lot about the surrounding that a member in your team is not aware of.
It's like they have context, but you have so much more context, and it's not fair for them to expect. You can't expect them to have the same context.
No, it's not their job. It's a full-time job to have that full context, to be honest. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
I know that context because I am in meetings they are not in.
Yeah.
I'm being there to be their eye and ears and shielding them from wasting their time.
Yeah, literally your job is to get that context.
So my job is to be there, hear it out, see how it affects my team, communicate it to my team, shield my team from distraction, do all this back and forth stuff so they don't need to do it themselves and they just need to get it. Okay, we are doing this for this and that, and explaining.
What's the best way to get them to see that? Is it more kind of coaching versus mentoring rather than say, hey, we can't because I said so? Is it more like a coaching side?
So we need to coach to be open-minded for rejection. That's you can coach. And be more acceptance of things won't fly for now. Mentoring or something, just give the why we cannot do it. It's just explaining by facts that we cannot do this because, by the way, we have done that in 2017. You weren't even around and resulted this. And all the data we have show that this is not what you should be doing for this and this and that. When you do this, you cannot argue with this. It's like, because it's something we have tried, didn't work, something is complicated, or we have something way more important, will bring more revenue or more happiness to our players. So,
counterpoint. What if I said, yeah, Ali, but that was 7 years ago? But we could have new data now. Things have changed.
Perfect. Then to make sure here's where it comes. If you're a good producer, or I could say no, and let's focus on this instead. But if I feel it's a good point and fair point, I actually go and fetch that data for them.
Uh-huh.
So I actually go to the dashboards and I try to fetch it myself if possible, or ask the data team to provide this kind of information. So I always try to back it up with something tangible. But let's be honest, sometimes the management says no. It happens in every company. It's like they say no because they also have insight, and they sometimes they don't need to explain, or sometimes you cannot even explain.
And it's technically expensive to explain if it takes mental energy finding data. But from my understanding, there's a balance here. Like you don't want to shut people down, and wherever possible, you give them the data.
100%. I always try to explain why it's not possible, and in some companies you cannot even actually say why not. I'm being honest because luckily not in our company, but I have friends in every big companies. You have people who owns the company. They're the owners and the board, and they decide things. And maybe they said, we're downsizing the company next month. So they know that, okay, half of the workforce won't be around. And some of your team members asking for something nice to have, and you send it, they say no because they have insight, but they cannot tell you why not.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to go to your team member and say, no, we're not doing it. And you don't have enough information to give. That's tough. That's really tough. But here's we need to be acceptance to After all, we work for a company, and the company pays the salaries. I'm being honest right now. Sometimes we are. This is the issue when you work in a creative space where people are so passionate about what they're building.
What's
It's
the
always
issue?
it's always a dilemma. Like, I have an idea, I believe this, or I could be mistaken, but I believe my idea will change the game future, and the players will love my idea. But could be not the case, to be honest. Or then I got no. Then I got upset from the company because they should have listened to me, whatever. This is uncommon in a lot of companies. It's like you do this, you do that. It's like you don't have this a lot of creativity freedom back and forth. So we try to give it as much as possible, but sometimes you don't have it. It's reality. So we need to be open-minded to try and give feedback, try what solution that even though we don't like it, and try to use channels to give feedback that it's not working, flagging things. And that's why you see a lot of issues in a lot of products and games, because it's due to something the team don't want, but being just forced to do anyway.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Like, a job done doesn't mean the same as it does in another thing. Like, it's not just a feature that's there. It's like, how does it feel? So, yeah, difficult.
It's difficult, but after all, it's really tough. Like, some members have a good point, but after all, the company who owns the product overall and paying the salary have direction they want to go with, and we did our best to give a feedback to the channel, and still they want to do it anyway. It's really tough, but like, if you ask me, then you should try to do what they want to do, and if it's not working, start to give feedback. And if they don't listen, yeah, it's not gonna work. There's no, it's reality. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say do whatever. No, we can't.
Yeah.
It's always about the circle of control concern. I'm not sure if you know about it.
Yeah, we have to focus on what we can control.
Exactly. It's like sometimes we can control things in my team, we can do it, but if it's outside, it's really outside. Yeah, you can just be concerned about it. But how much time you want to spend in concern versus control, it's really up to you.
The energy goes to a black hole otherwise.
Exactly. You're
not
just
worth it.
wasting your time in being concerned about things you cannot change.
So, with this context, we're in a situation where there are less jobs. It's hard to get in the industry. Some might say it's hard to stay, hard to promote. So I want to tackle these three aspects because you've had an interesting journey. So, in terms of breaking into the industry, I'd love to understand, like, how did you break into the industry?
So, good to know that I didn't know anyone in the gaming industry, and my LinkedIn was very shy. I didn't even have a profile photo, so, like,
I love the. So here are my stats. I had.
yeah, no, exactly. Knowing no one, no connections on LinkedIn, and never been a studio in my life.
All right. So with these three things, how did you do it?
I start to be obsessed with reading job ads.
Okay.
Seriously, people don't read job ads. They just read what they believe the title will be.
What year was this?
8 years ago.
Okay, so 8 years ago, you're reading job ads.
Yeah.
What led to you getting your first job?
Perfect. So I start to read job ads. Everything. Just read job ads. Title and what. So they look for years of experience in something. Then you start to see a trend. Like, all of them look for something. Like, it's a skill they look for.
You weren't looking specifically for a producer role, if I
No.
remember.
I started in QA, kind of lead in tech, because that was my.
You just decided to join the games industry without deciding the title?
Kinda, yes. Like,
Cool.
It's like, to what happened, I have a master in computer engineering, so I'm very technical background, and I was looking for jobs in Stockholm in IT. Then gaming industry. Wait, you can work in the gaming industry? I'm not exaggerating. I've been gamer my entire life, but working in the gaming industry never ever came across my mind.
Wow.
Like, you need to, man, I love games. I love games. I play games every day. I've been playing games my entire life. I'm obsessed with games.
But you never made the jump.
I didn't even know that you can work. I was like, games just fall from the sky, I guess.
Yeah.
So when I saw, wait, you can work in the gaming industry, I was obsessed. I was reading job ads every night, every single night, reading job ads. So that's helped me to see what they're looking for. So they always look for knowledge in making games. So I knew my first step. I need to build a game. Nice. I need to learn how to build a game. So I made a half-year game design course with my full-time job.
So you took on a half-a-year game design course?
100%. And I believe everyone should do. Everyone should know how to build a game. You don't need to be a game designer. You don't need to go really deep. But I get my hands dirty with Unity, made a couple of games in Unreal, small ones, like nothing crazy. But now I know what game design document or GDD means. I know how to make a game from ideation, from like a block out, how to do like the mock-up, how to do like like all the steps you need until you polish the game and you
So
export
step
it.
one, you got that game design practicality. Was this before you started applying?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So
It took me 4 years.
Oh,
Took me 4 years, but not only learning, because I was doing like helping smaller studios and indies to do localization and testing and some production.
wow. So I think it's important for people to understand. Like you were working full time.
Full time.
You did not just say, "Okay, I'm going to join the games industry."
No, and it
Like,
happened. No,
you build skills to then prepare yourself to apply.
100%. And how I knew which skills to grow is from reading job ads and understanding the trends.
Yeah, you reverse engineered it.
100%. Reverse engineering the job ads, reading as much as possible, because in the gaming industry we have different titles. There's no way you would know. Let's say you're project manager. You go gaming industry project manager. You will find a few, but it's if you're like you could apply for a producer, you can apply for a product, or like, there's a million name for this. It's the same. It's just like
there's a lot of overlap.
exactly. So if you don't know this, how will you know what to apply for? Reading also highlight what skills you're missing. Let's say you are just started, like you can learn whatever, and you're ready to learn multiple things. By reading job ads, you will find that there's a lot of companies looking for that role. Why? It's like hard to find. Graphics programmers, build engineers, tools programmers, really hard to find. By reading job ads, you will start to see trend. Then you know what to do. If you really want to go in and you have the capacity to learn what that role would take, then you can start learning.
I like the advice because it's also timely. If it worked 8 years ago, if you
100%.
read the job ads 8 years ago, then maybe you wouldn't work. But you're reading today's job ads, so this is
100%.
always relevant.
100%. If like AI wasn't a big thing I mean, always we had AI in games, but to AI, the new AI, generative AI, which is we don't like, but a lot of AI specialization that now it's start to appear. So when you read a job ad, you always up to the trend and know what to do. The next step is you will find like a skill that you can transfer from your old job to gaming industry already.
What did you transfer?
Leadership, because I used to be test lead and QA lead in my previous years. So that's something, and communication skills, facilitation, if you know how to facilitate, communicate, feedback. There's a lot of things you can carry with you. It's actually more than you expect. Actually, I have a full post with Carousel, how many things you can carry with you.
Oh, nice.
Then things you don't have. By reading the job ads, reading about the gaming industry, okay, I don't know how to make a game. I don't know game design. I don't know a lot of things. So that's how you decide what you're going to learn, how you kind of fill that gap.
Yeah, where to spend your time.
Exactly. So I did both of them. Now I'm ready. Perfect. I built a couple of small games. They look for experience. How can I build an experience if I am full-time job or they don't have a job yet? It's the
Catch-22.
Exactly. I was going to say exactly catch-22. Like how to do that. And here's my biggest tip for everyone: lost their job or student. It's really sad time for students to have an internship because no one is looking to put time in this because due to a lot of layoff. We need to replicate the experience I can have from the gaming industry. I need to replicate it even though I don't have a job.
Do it. How?
I'm a student right now. I finished. I'm done. I'm ready to do something. I'm waiting for a company to hire me. A lot of people just wait. They just wait for the opportunity to come. And they wait for a year or two. They do something aside to pay the bills, which is no shame in that. We should all do that when needed. But then they've been 2 years graduated from the school or university, never done anything relevant to the study or experience in the game. That will make it even harder for them to go to the gaming industry because the education and the trend and knowledge in the gaming industry always moving forward like anything else. You're falling behind. So there's multiple techniques to make sure that you're always up to the trends and replicating the experience from the gaming industry. You do that in 2 steps or two sections. First of all, being up to date with everything is happening in the gaming industry. Highly recommend microlearning. Reading few pages a day.
Of?
Book relevant to the industry. Like there's a lot of cool books.
What
Uh,
comes to mind? Is there one you would
Blood,
recommend?
Sweat and Pixels, Playful Production, the Game Design Theory. There's a lot of good books. I also have a carousel about a lot of books.
Nice.
So take some
Actually,
inspiration.
this is a good moment to
Yeah.
share. Ali's very active on LinkedIn.
If
you don't know Ali,
oh,
he posts every day. So
Every
you
day.
have an hour or so of his time here. If you need more of it, go to his LinkedIn page, follow,
please do.
because there's more and there's a lot on many topics actually. So just a quick plug.
Thank you.
So you're saying with microlearning, how do you end up doing that?
So we mentioned the books, but now a lot of people in the gaming industry or passionate, they go all in. Like they start reading 2 books, do 5 courses, learning Unreal, Unity, Blender, everything. It's not sustainable. Like you do that for how long? Seriously, like a few weeks and you will be burned out. You will hate the whole thing. So my tip for everyone, microlearning, just like, can you do, I ask a lot of people, do you read books? They say like, no, not really. I say, can you read 10 pages a day? 10 to 15? Yeah, sure. It's not a big deal, right? It's just like watching a couple of cat memes on TikTok.
15 minutes.
Yeah, do you know how many books you finish by reading 10 to... I'm asking you right now, do you know how many?
I do. I used to give this advice. I think if you read 10 pages a day, it's over 12 books a year or something.
Yeah, it's like around between 6 and 9 if they're normal size.
Yeah, okay.
If it's smaller, you can go up to, of course.
I was thinking business books.
Yeah. So, are you telling me I can read up to 6 to 9 books by doing 15 or 10 to 15 pages a day? Yeah, I'm telling you that.
And
Perfect.
And the amazing thing is, most times you start to read 10 pages, it ends up being 30, 50.
Yeah, which has happened to me in one of the cases because I read before bed, but that book was so good. So I start to go to bed earlier because I don't take my phone to bed. Don't take your phone to bed.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Tell me.
I know. Well, actually, I looked at the camera. I should look at you. Seriously, it's a really bad habit to take your phone to bed. It's
Replace
really
it with
bad.
a book is actually a good idea.
And we need to disconnect before going. You need to reduce the stimulation that we have. We have all the day being stimulation, and now before bed, definitely we should do that. Not do that. Second tip is I watch up to 15 minutes YouTube clip about the gaming industry every day.
Yeah, what did you watch today or yesterday?
So yesterday I was watching. Let me remember. Mark Brown, Game Maker Toolkit. I love Mark Brown.
Oh, cool.
100%. He's a fantastic channel, and he was talking about the game he's making, the Magnet game. So how to make game without an experience. It was an interview. It was really amazing.
So it's real. So he does do it every day.
Of course. I mean, you can actually check my history. Actually, I have people when I give this advice, I give it to my students. So I open my phone, I go to my history, and I show it to them. I seriously watch every day.
Nice.
15. I watch more. I'm being honest, but minimum is one clip.
I think that's also a good thing to have as a habit. You don't set yourself watch video a day. You said 15 minutes. Very tangible.
Yeah, very tangible. So before going to bed or like a couple of hours, just watch one video. But I end up watching more. I'm being honest. But minimum is 15 minutes. Then I always have a course running at any given point. Always.
What's the course now?
Okay, I'm doing Epic, the one they launched on Coursera a few weeks ago.
Okay, cool.
Amazing course. I'm enjoying it. So I do 2 hours a week. That's it. Seriously, I'm being honest with you. 2 hours a week, you can finish a course about game design or whatever in 6 months if you do 2 hours a week. I'm reading a lot of books because I do 15 or 10 pages a day. And I'm up to the trends because I listen to the best experts, GDC, Mark Brown, all these experts on YouTube because 15 minutes with you.
Yeah.
I'm always up to the trend because the microlearning. So this is my first tip that for everyone is trying to replicate the experience from the game industry or stay relevant. I believe this advice should be applied even though if you work in the gaming industry.
Maybe especially now, like 100%. There's one website that comes to mind in person, Game Design Skills, like gamedesign.skills.com it's called, but it's really, really in-depth stuff, and they have a nice little Discord. I think that Discord is a big part of like breaking into the industry. When you were saying about breaking into the industry, I was thinking about game jams.
100%.
And I was thinking about just talking to other people who actually develop games. Yes, now.
Connections.
Like, yes, connections, but also like actually talking to people making games now, just so you can have that lingo and context. And I think like there's a lot of Discords that have that.
There's a lot of communities looking for people to build games together.
Yeah.
Just need to connect and start building your own games while waiting or want to apply for the gaming industry. By doing the microlearning, by start building games, participating in game jams, speaking to industry professionals, And there's a lot of amazing resources. We can mention Amir's one. Amir's have a massive. By the way, you can actually book me if you like.
Go to
uh,
Amir
my,
Satvat's resources.
my name is there. Even like there's like really a lot of amazing people. They are there. You just like seriously having time with these people is people would pay for.
100%.
And they're just willing to give back to the community. You just need to know where to look. So you have access to amazing experts. By the way, try to reach out to industry experts. Super open-minded, always willing to help. You do the microlearning. You are building games with local community or the global community. By doing that, your chances increasing by far, because you're building something. You never know. You could build a really cool game that you don't need to be hired anymore. Then you start looking for investors or a publisher. Building multiple games will really enriching your portfolio as well. In my case, just by telling my company that I built this game, I've done this to be in the gaming industry, that was enough incentive for them to hire me.
Really? Nice.
Yes, because I don't have a gaming industry experience, but they saw the effort I've put into the gaming industry.
That's actually a very good point. Also, when you have the evidence for yourself that you've put in all that effort, I can imagine that comes across in the interview.
100%. And it comes with the not only tangible in terms of self-confidence. Like, I know what you're talking about. Like, they say, "Oh, have you done?" No, I have done, but I've written GDD, and then I did this. You don't even explain it's game design document, because they know, especially if there's a designer. But they say, "Oh, that person knows GDD. That person." Well, then I built my own engine, and I use this mechanism like CMake or GMake to build my engine. Oh, that person know how to build like projects in Visual Studio. So you're saying what you have learned with details, show it similar, equivalent to what you have done at previous job.
Yeah,
kinda. And when you don't have a gaming industry experience, most likely you cannot go for expert, especially if it's a game production. You will go to mid-level or junior level, unless the role is business or legal, then it doesn't really matter. So that's really increase your chances. Microlearning, building games, enriching your portfolio, that give you self-confidence, and of course networking, being out there. You could be the best game designer, best artist, but if I don't see you, I won't hire you. I won't even know about you even.
Yeah.
Yes, be out there on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is absolutely one of the best places.
We have an event tomorrow.
Oh, but they will see this like God knows when.
We have an event in.
Yeah, but
this is December 4th now, so it's December 5th in Stockholm. But it's an example of an event.
True.
Like we organize gaming rally events, but there's loads of local ones. Like when I did a quick search, like IGDC do a lot of
100%.
events. And I'm guessing, like in Stockholm, there's probably others.
Oh, we have a lot of them, but ours will be the best.
Of course.
Sorry for everyone listening, but ours is gonna be amazing. Exactly. So just go where gaming events are. Speak to industry professionals. Show them your work, but of course do it in a nice, like build a good connection. And if they ask, show them your work, or connect with them and show them after. If that's the right person, the right eyes, you're hired. Yeah. Or you're highly chanced to make your CV being read, which
your foot's in the door.
Making your CV being seen by the right people is a privilege right now. I'm not exaggerating.
And also, if you do it in that way, they can give you feedback to improve the next one.
100%. And every no you hear, every rejection with the right feedback is a redirection to the yes.
Yes.
Celebrate. And this is back to the mindset that makes me always happy. When things fail, when I hear no, I always see it as it's a step closer. And that's how everyone needs to see it. What happens, you hear no 10 interviews in 2 months. That's soul crushing. I'm being honest. Soul crushing. Beside all the one that goes to you and all the one they reject you by auto mail, clearly they haven't seen you. It's soul crushing. But need to remember that it's not about you personally, first of all. Second, ask for feedback if you have done the interview. Fix your portfolio and be proud that you're closer. Be happy that you're one step closer, 100%. If you ask for feedback and redirect. That's how I see it.
Yeah. When I used to do this as a recruiter, I used to gamify. So technically, I don't win unless someone gets placed at a job. There's loads of steps that happen before that. and they're signs that I'm in the right direction.
Like, even though a lot of those small tricky, you hear no,
Yeah.
you adjust, you try someone else. You need to do something, but when it works, it pays off.
Yeah, for me, like I tracked replies, a call. Did I get a follow-up call? These are all things which aren't jobs, but they are a step closer.
And this is exactly how it happens when you get a lot of rejections. It's a step closer.
Yeah.
Same way.
And I think it's just very important. I just want to double down, like track things that happen like before the rejection, because then you can know, am I putting in the inputs? Like that's the only thing you can control.
Exactly.
Perfect. So before we close off here, I'm going to do some quick fire questions. So I'm bringing out my phone.
Wow. I'm afraid of the phone now.
Yeah. So for people looking to get promoted as a producer,
Okay.
what have you noticed when you look at your career? Like, what are the best producers doing? Why are they getting promotions while others are, not getting promotions?
Until our course, or the course that I'm the head of at Future Game Warsaw, which is game producer, video game producer, and we teach people how to be producer and by building games. There's no actually career path for producer, believe it or not.
So when you say that, you mean getting out education?
Yeah.
Wise?
Education, there's no. It's just like game designers, even quality assurance programmers, but there is nothing called game producer. There's no career path for it. Even though it's a leader role, I know it's shocking when you hear me
So
out.
if someone's an aspiring producer, what do they do with that information?
If you are at a company who want to be a producer, from my experience, I've seen a lot of transitions from actually all the crafts. I've seen from HR, from business, from a lot of crafts, they showed interest in being a producer and they got it and they were actually did really good. The main two crafts I've seen it working well is the game design and quality assurance, QA.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen the most.
That works really well because they have seen the product, they have a full understanding, and they happen to love working with people and they're good at communication, facilitation, then they'll be producers. At the same time, that meant that a lot of people got to the role just because they showed interest and no one wanting to do it. But it's a leader role, which is tricky. That person is not equipped to do a lot of decisions. There's a lot of things there's nothing to learn from.
So how do you become a better producer, like practically?
Practically, there's good books you can read, inspired. It's how to build a tech product. It's not about games even, but games is a software and it's in tech. So that's a really good book to have an understanding to how to build a product. You need to understand how the workflow works in game, what the steps are, building the communications, and back to the tips that we understand your team. Don't lose yourself in the details and don't lose the full picture. Like, it's really important because what happens if you're a game designer, and they speak about game design, you will be contributing like you're a game designer.
Yes.
That's a big trap. You should never lose yourself in details. Trust them. They know what they're doing. Focus on the bigger things and blocking them. See the future, risk mitigation, go back to the past, understand the mistakes, avoid them. And that's what you need to be a good producer. Can you educate that? Yes. I can tell you how we educate our students. We teach them those subjects separately, how to do communications, how to do leadership, how to give feedback, how to receive feedback. I ask my students to ask for anonymous feedback from their team. Do you know how that's terrifying?
Oh, yeah.
For terrifying for everyone. Why? Even for us, it's terrifying.
Tim Ferriss, I was listening to his podcast and he said that was one of the worst things he's ever been through. He had a full 360 feedback and he's someone who's obviously quite successful.
Receiving feedback is tough. So I ask my students, I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud if you're listening. I hope they are. Seriously, like, them ask for feedback and receive like harsh or something you did good, it feels bad. But that's how we teach. So they actually did that, and we're going to discuss it in one-to-one. I'm going to look at the raw feedback they received anonymously. That's how we teach. And the best way to learn is to make games. So my students ship 4 games. They're going to ship 4 games in their study. And they're going to produce the full games. And that's how you build, in my opinion, a producer who knows how to build games.
All right, going to continue some rapid fire questions. What is Passion Week?
Passion Week is where, simple, no meetings. Go bananas. Oh, it's Passion Week, we cannot use bananas, but do whatever you want. Seriously, do whatever you want. Learn, build whatever crazy project feature. That's it. I'm presented to the company.
And what has been the results of that? Because I've heard it's been good.
It's been amazing. I cannot imagine Star Stable without Passion Week. This know that when everyone is right now live and everyone is enjoying it, came from a Passion Week. Photo mode, what everyone is using to take any amazing photos in our game, came from Passion Week.
Okay, so 2 more questions.
Yep.
Why do you travel so much to events?
Okay, you need to stand in the line because there's a lot of people ask me the same. And I'm not sure if I should be proud of the statistics. I've been in air for 5 days this year, 2024. 5 days in air flying between countries. And my answer is, imagine this. And that's how I believe it's reality. A single encounter, like one single interaction, one single inspiration you got from someone, one single connection could change your life. I'm not exaggerating.
I mean,
And I'm looking at you and I know your story, so you don't need to brag about it. I was part of it. I was proud that we're in Barcelona.
I concur. It happens.
See, so I don't need to sell that, but I'm really telling that to everyone listening to me right now. This is how I see it. So are you telling me there's a chance for me to take me somewhere else and I'm gonna miss that? Hell no. I'm flying, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there. You remember I did fly to Barcelona to meet you there.
6 hours there. It was like a 4-hour event, and then you left.
You remember? It was literally in 12 hours. I did back and forth to Barcelona from Stockholm, which is 3 hours trip, to be there for 4 hours. I'm so proud. I'm so happy I did that. I don't even regret. It's like I've learned a lot. We had a meeting, follow up. It's just amazing what you hear from new people. It changes your perspective. Plus, I'm a public speaker, so I be on a stage, which is I really love. Sharing my stories, connecting with people. I love that. So traveling was a big part of where I am today. It's a big part of my personality growing. Am I gonna keep fly the same rate? Maybe not, because now I know what events it works more for me.
And you know that because you've done.
100%. You don't know what you don't know. I had to do it. So I highly recommend that. I'm not asking to fly. I mean, it's not even fair to ask students to fly 100 hour or like I have like 50 flights this year. It's not fair. What I want you to do is the following. Let's say Harry invites me to do like one of those board games with the friends, but I don't feel like really playing board games. Then I always skip. Next time, say yes, go. Do it. Next time, say I'm coming. Do something you don't usually do. That's the best form of creativity. Take a different route. Go to some events you never, even though you don't feel social that day, do it. You never know. So that's how I view flying, and that's how I view interaction with people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ali, I think we should finish there.
Perfect.
Ali, it's been a pleasure. What should people do? Where can people find you?
Okay, guys, I write on LinkedIn every day except Saturday. Sorry about the spam. You can read my post. If you don't read it, just put like or something. So the algorithm is happy. Really happy to be connected with all of you. I do my best to share absolutely the steps that got me in here. I even expose myself a bit on social media. I don't mind. I really want people to have an easier journey. I really would love to connect with all of you. Reach out to me in DMs. I take my time to reply because I'm getting a lot of love and support from all of you, which I really appreciate, but I always do my best to reply to all of you. Thank you so much. And Harry, my man, we have been planning this for ages now.
Yeah.
And it's happening finally. Good job, bro.
Let's go.
Thank you.
And yeah, let's go party tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Nice. Ali,
Perfect.
thank you so much. And everyone, thank you.
Have a good day from
yeah.
me and Harry. Take care.
I haven't done this in a while. Subscribe. Maybe subscribe.
True. Actually, don't follow me on LinkedIn. So go subscribe to him instead.
Subscribe to the Gaming Playbook. Wherever you're listening, is it YouTube, Spotify, Apple? Your choice. All you need to do
It's
is click subscribe. That's all I ask for.
Do that.
Amazing.
Easy.
All right. Bye, everyone.